Excited to have my next guest on the program for the first time. It's Adolfo Bedolla, who will be taking on Miles Emery again, this time for the amateur heavyweight title at NEF 57 on April the 20th, right here in Bangor, Maine. Adolfo, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Hope you are excited to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk to you as well. You've looked really great so far in your amateur career. Perfect record. You've already fought for NEF once. I mentioned you took on Miles previously. You finished him in the first round. So I guess my first question is, were you surprised at the name when you found out about this title fight?
A little bit. So Mike Murray, who has fought at NEF, has kind of been kind of like my quote unquote manager. He's kind of been I call him like my big brother, in the sense of the MMA world, just making sure I'm making the right choices and whatnot. And he mentioned that Matt was interested in me fighting back up there and giving that title shot getting the title shot. And we had some other people that we thought in mind that were maybe a possibility. I think there was a heavyweight fight that happened. I think it was end of the year or early in the year, who we thought maybe the winner of that was going to be who we were taking on. And then they were like, "Hey, Miles Emery's who we got." And at first we were like, is that the right call? But hey, if that's what Matt wants, that's who we'll take.
He's a local guy. He trains in Brewer at Titan Athletics, so he's going to have a lot of people there in attendance supporting him. So you'll be rocking the black hat, I'd imagine. Coming into Bangor for this title fight. Does that excite you? Do you like playing the villain?
It does. I don't consider myself a bad person, but if I have to play the bad guy role for this fight, I'll do it. I'm excited for it. Enjoyed my time up at NEF for that first fight. Everyone was amazing, from the crew, staff, Matt, everyone, the refs. So excited to be back up here and give the people a good show.
Have you ever been booed before? Like, have you ever been like in a situation where you were competing against someone else? Like for me, like playing sports when I was younger, you go into, you play someone at their own home court, obviously you're not going to have as many fans there. So you get booed. But like in the combat sports world, have you experienced that?
In the combat sports, I have not. I think it'll be not a little bit of a shock because, like I said, like you said, in sports growing up, I played competitive soccer at a high level. So I was used to it. I have that, but I do have that competitive athlete mindset that it just brushes off. It goes in one ear and out the other. It doesn't phase me.
What position did you play in soccer?
I was a goalie.
Okay, I was gonna say because you're a bigger guy. Like I would
Yes, sir.
imagine maybe you'd be the goalie in there, making sure nothing gets by you.
Nothing got well. A couple obviously went by me, but I like to say I was pretty good at my position. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which reminds me of something else. I don't know if it's been changed yet, but when I looked on the NES Tapology page, it says that this is for the light heavyweight championship. I can't imagine that's the case, right? This is for the heavyweight title.
It should be for the heavyweight. We
Okay.
definitely slimmed down a little bit, but we're not 205 yet.
What do you walk around at? Like, what's the heaviest you get?
So a quick little side story was, when decided I wanted to do MMA, January of last year. Like I said, with Mike, I weighed at my heaviest 305 pounds. And then the goal was I wasn't going to fight until my second fight in October. And then, end of June, Matt called Mike and was like, "Hey, we had a guy, bail out 13 days out. Do you know anyone who wants to do it?" And the way Mike kind of presented it to me was, "Look, it's all the way in Maine." He goes, "You win, you're a badass. You just, you won your debut on a 13-day notice. He's like, you lose, we don't tell anyone. No one has to know you even fought." But I had to cut 21 pounds in 11 days. So I got down to, I think I weighed in that day at like 257. And then for my second fight, I weighed in at 247. And I'm walking around now like 253, 254. I have goals for this next fight. I'd like to weigh in at like 240, 245.
Okay. Well, with heavyweight too, like I mean, you don't have to cut weight, right? Because the limit's
Right.
265. Does it?
Mhm.
What's the benefit to that? To cutting weight as a heavyweight, or wouldn't it make more sense to just come in like fully hydrated and as big as you possibly can be?
I think yes. Normally yes, but in my case, with me being 5'10", 5'11", And most of my opponents being 6'2", 6'3", I have to take what little advantage I can get. And in most cases, it's my speed and my agility. I think that's something I was always blessed with, even as like I said, even when I was a bigger guy. I played a sport that required a lot of agility, so that transferred really well into the MMA world. And so that's always been my advantage. I say I want to be the next Cain Velasquez. He walked around like 240, 245, and I mean he gave Brock Lesnar a rocking. So it's like that's kind of like my motivation.
Hey, I love it, man. And what's the reach at? If you're only 5'10", do you have longer arms?
That's a good question. We measured my last fight. It's slightly longer than your average 5'10", 5'11" guy. But I think that's another thing I do very well. If you watched my first fight and then my second fight that I had down here in South Carolina, I do a good job of being pretty good at kind of hiding my jab and kind of distinguishing, well, not distinguishing, kind of hiding the length on it.
Mhm.
I work well. I work a lot with my striking coach on making myself extend a lot longer on my punches. To kind of give me that extra little advantage when I can.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, take every advantage that we can get in life, right? Let's talk
Have
about
to,
that
yes,
last
sir.
fight, man. October was the last time you competed. It was a split decision victory. All that matters is you got
Mhm.
your hand raised, but have to imagine maybe you're not as pleased with that performance, right? Wanted to get maybe at least minimum a UD. Like, what are the takeaways from that one?
Of course. I'll be honest. With my first fight being a minute and 90 seconds, you don't really learn a whole lot from that. Obviously you do. I learned keep your damn hands up. Excuse my language. Keep your hands up, things like that. But this next fight was really for me going into it was this is where I kind of make the decision. Do I really want to do this? Is this something I want to, commit to 100%? So the first round we expected, Shatari's a great guy. He's been, super cool after fight. We talk every once in a while. He's been cool. But we knew he was a rugby player, so he was going to be tough as nails. Um, and he could take a hit. I mean, damn. So that was a little bit of a mental thing I had to get through because I mean I was hitting him with all I could, and he just kept on nodding at me that so I think I definitely slowed my pace down. Didn't play to my strengths as much as I should have. That match should have been on the ground halfway through the first round. There was no need for me to try to stand and bang with him.
Mhm. Well, hey, again, you got the win. You're 2-0 now. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, your background and combat sports and, what your goals are now here moving forward.
Yes, sir. So funny story. Like I said, I played competitive soccer, went and played college ball. And then COVID hit and I kind of just stopped playing soccer, so I didn't have anything else to really do. So my dad started doing jujitsu. And he's actually the one who got me into it. He's like, it was he started doing it pre-COVID. And he was like, hey, just come try it out, da 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 this, da 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 that. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't know why, it just never was appealing to me. And then one day I went and did it and just fell in love with it. So I have been consistently training now for about, I think this is year four, so going into like 4.5. I'm a blue belt in jujitsu, but I've been striking since I was little. My dad used to take us to boxing classes, so I never did anything super in depth with boxing, but I was always in and out of a boxing gym.
Okay. Well, you clearly got the hands, man. And you talked a little bit about, not really having a whole lot of tape to go on after your first fight with Miles, but here you are now, not too far in the future, and you're rematching him for the title. What did you learn from that first fight? Is there anything specific that maybe will make the second fight even easier? Or do you see evolution in him? Do you see a better version of Miles from when you first fought him?
Definitely. Like I always like to say the same. We got to be honest, man. I think he trains hard. So I hope. I have high hopes. I want this to be in a good fight for not only for us but for the crowd. Um, so I know the guys at Titan. Ed Davis, David Corson. They're all great guys. They're tough sons of guns. So I know they're training hard. But realistically, I mean, I watched that. I watched that pay-per-view. When they were fighting, was it in Bangor as well? This
Uh,
last.
Yeah,
with
when he fought Abdul. Yep.
Abdul. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think if Abdul's cardio was better, maybe had a little bit better sense of jujitsu and awareness of where he was, he wins that fight in my opinion. He was getting outboxed. He was just standing with him. Um, and I do believe I'm a much more well-rounded fighter now. I'm more confident in the skills I have in my arsenal, and I hope to be able to display that that day.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be fair, look, it is what it is. I mean, I think Miles would tell you the same thing. His back was against the wall against Abdul going into that third round. He lost the first two rounds. So for him to come back and get that win in the third, do you think that it goes to show like his resolve and how tough he is? Like you're going to have to work harder to put him out a second time?
Yeah, to an extent, I don't like to talk crap, but I like to shoot things straight. I think I train and work with guys that are 10 times more of a challenge. Like I said, hey, we're shooting it straight here. I'm excited, to get to fight him again. But at the same time, this is a chance for me to truly display what I've been working on, what's in my arsenal, and hey, if we have to go 5 rounds, I've got the cardio to go 5 rounds. I'm not worried about that.
What would it mean to you, this early in your career to win a belt, to win the NEF belt? I mean, it's a pretty nice accomplishment for only three fights into your amateur career.
It is. It's awesome. I think about it every single day. Ever since Matt kind of told us that's what was next in line. I envision it. I envision it. I It's crazy, but I envision every single way that I win. I'm a very I like to envision things and I'm big into goal and I work towards it. Once that's it, that it's coming home. It's coming back to North Carolina. So I'm excited for that.
Tell me how the relationship with Mike Murray came about.
So Mike, Mike was in the Marines, and they moved, I believe, from California over to North Carolina, and they stopped in one day for a trial class, and him and his buddy Nate Shaw, who's also from Maine, they stopped by for a trial class, and I talked to them a little bit, nothing crazy. I mean, they're the new guys at the gym, it kind of takes a little bit to break the ice. But immediately, we cracked jokes. They were super down to earth people. Um, and they just wanted to get better at jujitsu. So at that time, Mike was getting ready to train to fight for the amateur belt, I believe, when he just joined the gym.
Mhm.
So Chad, our head coach, Chad Stevens at Davidson County Jiu-Jitsu, went up to me and he's like, "Hey, this new guy, he's getting ready. He's training for his fight. I want you to do some sparring with him." Not that at the time that my striking was any good, but we're not known to be a fighter gym. We're definitely a jiu-jitsu gym. Um, so I started sparring with him, just got along better with him. And I said the rest is history. He's truly been like that big brother in the sense of the jiu-jitsu and martial arts world.
Yeah, well, good guy to have in your corner, no doubt about it. Uh,
Definitely.
Tough fight last time out against Jeff Reynolds for him, man. Used to seeing Mike fight at smaller weight classes. Do you know, will that be the case moving forward, or is he going to continue to fight at 185?
No, no, that was a one time deal. I think as being the main guy in his corner, I kind of failed him at that. He kind of mentioned it, and I kind of shrugged it off. I was like, yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. It wasn't, we should have been a lot smarter about it. And he needs to fight at 170 or lower.
Yeah.
So with this fight being at 170, it's going to work out for him. I'm excited for him because he's been busting his tails well, and we're bringing that southern heat up. That's for sure.
I love it, man. Yeah, man. Jeff Reynolds is a big dude. So like when I heard about that fight happening, I was a little surprised to be honest, because Reynolds is a monster, and Mike's coming into his man body though. I mean, he's definitely gotten a lot bigger, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's a big jump in size, I thought.
Well, see, I wasn't there for I flew in Friday, so
Mhm.
Friday night, so I wasn't there for the weigh-ins. But they were talking about this guy like Jeff Reynolds' waist is being like small as crap. And they posted the pictures on the Facebook, and I was like, deep down, I didn't say anything to Mike. You know, you never say anything to your fighter, but deep down, I was like, this guy's huge, you know? And then the day of the fight, Mike's probably walking around at like 190, if that, you know?
Yeah.
And this guy's easily you can tell he's 200s, you know?
Oh, for
So I
sure.
was like, man, I was like, this is kudos to Mike, you know? Like I said, I think realistically, if we would have done some things maybe a little bit different in that fight, I think it could have been a different show to end that first round, and we
Mm,
could have adjusted a little bit. But man, Jeff Reynolds is a tough man. He's tough. Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. Tell me a little bit about the guys that you've been working with the most for this camp to get you ready for this rematch with Miles.
Yes. So my striking coach, his name is Mark Lipscomb. He is a world kickboxing champion, originally down from South Florida. And so he since day one that I joined our gym, he's kind of taken me under his wing as far as the striking goes. And so I'm super confident in my striking. Like I said, we work hard. I also do mitts with Nick Rodriguez down in Charlotte, North Carolina. He is originally from Illinois, and he's a Muay Thai fighter. So I do mitts with him. Just kind of fine tune and kind of mix the kickboxing and the Muay Thai world together. As far as my striking goes, and same thing with boxing. I train down at Diamond Boxing in Charlotte as well. So I'm just trying to get the best of all worlds and make it my own style. As far as jujitsu, it's I train out of Davidson County Jiu-Jitsu. Our head coach is Chad Stevens. We don't have world champions yet. Quote me on that because we will have world champions in the jiu-jitsu world. Marco Fuentes, who's our purple belt. I mean, just unbelievable. Of course, Mike Murray, Nate Shaw. We've got a really solid team. We're an up-and-coming jiu-jitsu gym, but we give everyone a run for their money. And then as far as my wrestling, I work with Dervin Rios and Matt Leonard and Matt Walker. Dervin is a wrestler. He wrestled at UNC Pembroke. And he's really, when I started jujitsu, they call him my jujitsu dad. Because when I started jujitsu, he literally, I mean, it's like he bred me into what I am, and now we're evolving and getting to better levels. So I'm truly blessed. God gave me these amazing, people, to work with, and I'm taking advantage of the opportunities.
Sounds like you're going to be very prepared come fight night. Again, this is going to be April the 20th, so it's still a little ways out. How long will you be in town prior to the fight? Are you going to get here a few days early and acclimate, or are you just coming in on weigh-in day and cutting the rest of the weight that you need to cut?
So the plan is, I know I said I want to get down to 240, 245 before the fight. Um, I said I'm walking around 250. I think I weighed in this morning at 253. I'll be there. I'll be at fight weight the week of.
Mm.
I'm not worried about if I weigh 247. It's not the end of the world. So but with the way my work and everything is, I'll fly out Thursday, just rest, and then Mike and I will go to weigh-ins Friday, and then weigh in and get ready for the fight on Saturday. So not a whole lot of acclimating. Um, Thankfully, I think I definitely thought about when Matt told me, it's like, hey, would love to have you back up here. I'm glad I kind of like took a second to sit down to myself and be like, okay, how's the environment up here? Is this something that whenever I come back, am I gonna have to, do I need another day? Things like
Yeah.
that. But thankfully, I think I acclimate pretty well to these situations, and I don't. The environment isn't that crazy as if we were fighting in the West Coast.
Right, right. Well, we're excited to have you back up here fighting for NEF, my man. Again, circling back here to the matchup specifically, already fought the guy. You beat him in the first round last time. Are you expecting him to come out different here in this second fight? Like, what are you anticipating from him as far as the game plan goes come fight night?
A little bit of both. I think he's gonna maybe be a little bit more held back as far as coming swinging. But I know, hey, like I said, we shoot it straight here. I know he's got. If I drop my left hand and he connects with the right, it's gonna do damage. It knocked me down in the first 10 seconds of the last fight. Um, but at the same time, I showed I got that spirit that I bounced right back up and put him down. So I think I expect these first 30 seconds of the fight to maybe be him more than anything, maybe trying to get his awareness of what's going on, and then after that, I'm taking.
Having said that, do you expect this fight to go longer? Like, do you think that we could see a second round, or is this going to be a nonstop action packed, first round finish?
So, if I can capitalize in the first round and end it in the first round, that's awesome. I'd love to have a first round finish to win my first belt. But at the same time, if we have to go round two, three, four, five, I'm not worried about it. My cardio's there. My drive, everything's there to push me that limit.
What is your official prediction, Adolfo? You seem very confident going into this rematch. Is it the same result, first round? Like, what do you think we're going to see?
Realistically, I think a KO round two or three. Yeah, that's me, and that's yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay. Can't wait to see it, man. Again, April the 20th, you'll be back fighting for NEF, this time NEF 57, rematching with Miles Emery for the amateur heavyweight strap. Great time talking to you for the first time, my man. Pleasure. We'll have to have you back again down the line. Before we do sign off today, I want to give you the floor. Anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Pleasure being here and getting to speak with you. Truly enjoyed it. Shout out to all my sponsors. They'll be on my shirts. Couldn't be doing what I'm doing without them. Shout out, of course, Mike and Matt over at NEF, and thank you to all the fans. The support is growing. All over the East Coast. So it's just a journey to the top. And God bless.